Okay, so to do this, you have to first take the first derivative, and to do that, in order for it to be easy, you have to change the fractions so that it be the squared and the x cubed would be on the top, no longer on the bottom, and so it'd be y equals x negative 2 minus x negative 3. And then it's much easier to take the derivative. So dy over dx equals negative 2x, and then negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. And then notice how there's a negative 3 and a negative 1. So it'd be a positive because two negatives obviously equal a positive. So plus 3x, negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4. Okay, so that's the first derivative. Now you have to get the second derivative since it's a point of inflection. That means you have to, you don't take the number line of the first derivative, you take it of the second derivative. So you have to, once again, take a derivative. Okay. Negative 3 times negative 2 is 6. And then, sorry. You, so it's 6. And then negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4. And then, once again, negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. So minus 12x to the negative 5th. Okay. Now you gotta factor it because it'd be really hard to just take these zeros. So factoring, you have to take out a negative 5 since negative 5 is the lowest, because when you factor, you have to take out the lowest common thing. So you go, next, you take out a 6, and x to the negative 5th, because that's the lowest. And then, so negative 5 minus negative 4 equals 1, so you're just left with an x. And then when you take out the x to the negative 5th, you get negative 12 divided by 6, so that's minus 2. Now it's much easier. So you'd set 0 equal to 6, x to the negative 5th, and you'd set 0 equal to x minus 2. 0 equals 6 over x to the 5th. Okay, so because of this, since it's a negative, you go 6 over x to the 5th, but in the end you just get x equals 0. And since x equals 0, we'll just notice how it's 1 over x in the original function. You can't do 1 over 0. It's just undefined. So it is undefined. And this is x equals 2. Now you make a number line for f. You put a 0 and a 2. The 0 is undefined, and the 2 has a 0. Okay. Then you'd plug something in, like less than, so f to negative 1, f of 1, and then f derivative 2 of negative 3. So f derivative 2 of negative 1, if you take negative 1 and plug it into the second derivative, you would get a positive number. If you take 1 and put it into the second derivative, you'd get a negative number. And then finally, you'd get another positive number if you plug in 3. This would work because just looking at the second derivative, if you took in negative 1, you get a positive number. Okay. So now you see three changes. It goes from positive to negative, and then from negative to positive. But since it's undefined here, there's no point of inflection, but there's a change here. And when there's a change, it's point of inflection. So your answer is C.